Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing great and staying safe and sane and healthy, and just everyone's getting along out there. In today's video, we're going to be going over part 3 of our coming home from the hospital and just basically the steps to becoming a new amputee. I don't really have a good title for this little 3-part series that we're doing, so we're just going to call it that. So, first and foremost, I hope everybody's doing great. Miss MOL is doing great. Baby MOL is doing good. My mini-me is doing good. Everybody's happy, getting along. Baby girl's eating like she should. My wife's blood pressure is looking great. So yeah, they're doing awesome. So those of you guys that's been sending us messages, that kind of thing, thank you so much. We really do appreciate y'all. So yeah, they're doing awesome. Now, where we last left off on this, we had our surgery. We are at home and we're all healed up. We have been to see our prosthetist already. We've set that appointment up. We haven't went and seen anybody just yet, but we're gonna set everything up, and we've got our appointment. And today what we're gonna do is go to that appointment all the way up to you're walking with your brand new leg. So all right, step 1, what you're going to be doing is that first day we're going to call, set up your appointment and everything. So whenever your appointment is, just go to that, and what's going to happen is they're going to basically, your very, very first day, they're going to get a whole bunch of measurements, that kind of thing. It's going to be pretty much a full day, and you're going to get everything measured. I have an entire series that I've done on this where it's like step 1, step 2, step 3. And it's right here. It's in my videos. You guys can go back and check that out later if you like. But I'll drop in some clips here and there and stuff that you guys can see, just like little snippets from those videos, and you guys can check that out. But step 1 is you're going to come in, and before you get any measurements or anything like that, they're going to talk to you. All right, look, what are you hoping to accomplish? What are you wanting to do with your limb? Meaning, like, are you a super active person? Like, are you a person that's like, I go to the gym every day and I rock climb and I do this and yada, yada, yada. Are you that kind of person? Are you a person that just wants to more or less put on your leg and get on with your day-to-day life? These are your K levels that I was talking about before. And what that is the insurance company is trying to determine what kind of leg they want to set up for you, or what kind of limb they want to set up for you. Everything that, they want to get all the components and everything right the first time, so they don't have to mess with it and keep on, basically have repeat after repeat after repeat of the wrong products. Because with these, there's, the feet and everything, they're different, man. I mean, there's ones that are set up for different things. And, hands, they're the same thing. They're much the same. But yeah, so they want to make sure that they can get you the right thing. Then they'll start talking to your insurance, that kind of stuff, and get you set up with a leg that is properly fit for you. And I don't mean like it fits your socket and like you're good to go. I mean like it's set up for your lifestyle, the stuff that you're used to doing. All right, so once they've established that and everybody's cool, we're all on board with, I think we're going to get you this kind of knee, this kind of leg, this kind of socket, whatever, blah, blah, blah. What they're going to start doing is they're going to come in with some measurements. Now, I'm going to drop in a short little video right here that you guys can see. This is just a snippet, kind of like just a little clip, and you can kind of get just a basic idea of what it looks like whenever they're doing their measurements, where they get it from, that kind of thing. And this is from when I was a below knee. When you are an above knee, it's still much the same of what you're going to be seeing up here. So yeah, I'm gonna drop that in real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see they have, you know, they measure from like 3 or 4 different places. And with that, they have like a drawing and everything, like pretty much just a drawing of a person's leg, a stump, that kind of deal. It's a full diagram that shows everything, you know, basically every little nook and cranny, every single little measurement that they're going to need in order to get everything set up and get everything, you know, done and working properly. So, so there you go. After you're done with that, and once they get all their measurements and everything, they're going to want to put you in a shrinker. Now, what a shrinker does is exactly what it sounds like. Now, sometimes they'll put you in this kind of stretchy pantyhose type material. And then sometimes, like what they did with me, is they just went ahead and put me straight into a liner. Now, they put me in a smaller liner on purpose as to use as a shrinker. And what a shrinker does, the whole purpose of having a shrinker is it's not necessarily to shrink down the limb as much as it is to mold it. Because our limbs look all like knurled and stuff. They kind of look like this whenever it first happens, you know. It doesn't look like a smooth transition. Well, with the shrinkers and that kind of stuff that they want you to wear beforehand, what is going to happen is it's going to make it more rounder on the end, that kind of thing, and you're going to be better suited and better set up to walk on your prosthetic. Because what's happening right now is if you don't use your shrinker and you don't use anything like that, you will have basically your bone was going to be just at the bottom of your stump, and every time you walk down, you're going to be what's called crashing. And crashing down on that stump is just bam, bam. It hurts like you wouldn't believe. I mean, imagine taking your knuckle and just punching a brick wall over and over and over and over and over. Well, that's basically what you're doing. Every time you step down on that, it's just bam, bam, bam. And what the shrinker's purpose is to take all that skin, all that muscle and everything, and just kind of squeeze it around the end of that tibia or the fibia, whichever, you know, you've had cut. So they want that to be nice and round, and that meat and everything. I know it sounds gross, but that meat, they want it pulled down at the end, nice and bulbous down there to where it's good and padded. Your surgeon should have already done a pretty good job of making sure that it's nice and covered up and padded and not just crashing straight down onto the bottom of the leg. Now, the shrinker's purpose and the goal of your prosthetist is to bring all that back together and make it not one nice big round, you know what I'm saying, like I said before, a nice bulbous kind of, you know, a nice smooth stump is what they want. It's a lot easier to cast, it's a lot easier to work with, and yeah, so there you go. But I have a video showing me getting fitted for my shrinker and that kind of stuff, and yeah, I'll drop in a little clip of that here. And like I said, all these videos, every single one of these videos, I'm gonna make a playlist and you guys can go back and watch them in full, because they're like, some of them are, you know, 5 to 10 minutes long, that kind of thing, and I'm not gonna bore you with putting the whole thing on here. So I'm just gonna drop in little bitty clips, and yeah. So I'm gonna put that in real quick. This is basically just showing what it looks like whenever they get you fitted for a shrinker and that kind of stuff. And yeah, so there you go. Okay, so you can see it's not a huge process. It's just basically you're just getting fitted and they're making sure the right size fits you, that kind of thing, because they do have different ones. The one that they use for me, actually, believe it or not, is fit for, like, you know, a teenager or something like that. They wanted to shrink it down as, like, as small as possible, so that way, you know, it's easier to work with. Now you have your shrinker on, and basically what they're going to do is send you home for like a couple days, maybe 2 or 3 days, something like that, because they got all their measurements, they got everything they need. They're going to start ordering you some products, you know, your liners, your you know, your foot. If you have a knee, they're going to order that. All your components, all your nuts and bolts, everything that's going to be going into it. And there you go. They're going to be ordering all that stuff while you're basically at home. Once that stuff comes in, they'll call you and be like, hey, all right, come on in, let's get you casted. Now, the casting process is just that. If anyone's ever had a broken arm or anything like that, they literally take plaster, and it's the same thing. It's no different. And they will basically cast around the actual socket itself. And I'll drop a short little video in here in a second. And they go all the way around the socket itself and then come back around all the way, and then they just keep going until it's nice and thick and hard. And then they want that to be, you know, really like just rock hard. And then they'll take it, you know, and pull it off of the actual stump itself and take it back to the back. And at that point, they'll pour a mold into the actual, or they'll pour plaster into the actual the casting they just made, and boom, that should be a perfect mirror image of, you know, your leg and the casting. It should be exactly the same whenever you look at them. A lot of times they'll bring them back in and kind of just like look at it and make sure that it lines up and it looks like it should. So so there you go. Now, you're not going to get a carbon fiber socket right off the bat. What they want to do is put you in something called a test socket. Now, what a test socket is it is a clear socket. It looks just like this. It's a clear socket, and it has like all kind of plaster and stuff at the bottom of it, and this adhesive and acrylic and all this stuff. Now, when you see that, don't freak out. Don't look at it and be like, oh my God, this thing is horrible. It looks terrible. It's just a temporary socket. What they want to do is send you home with it. Get used to walking around on it, you know, and that way, whenever you come back, you can say, oh my God, it kills me. It's sticking up in the left part of my knee right here. It is something that they can take and maneuver and heat up and stuff like that, and actually mold it back into your leg, let you walk with it, that kind of stuff. And then once you're 100% comfortable with that test socket, that's it, baby. I mean, it's time to start making a mold, because once they work and start doing the carbon fiber process, you cannot adjust that. You can't heat it up and bend it or anything like that. Carbon fiber is one of the hardest substances on the planet. So it's a composite, meaning that's like it's made from different things, like a whole bunch of stuff. It's not like a natural stone or something. But yeah, I mean, once it's made, it's made. You can't undo it. You know, you can cut it and that kind of stuff, but you can't necessarily like shrink it or anything. So they want to make 100% certain that everything works fine, and make sure everything looks good and works like it should. And this is probably going to be an all-day event. This is going to be a big deal, because what they want to do is make sure that you can walk the first time. Like this right here is going to be your first day. This is, I'll tell you what, I'll put in a clip here in a second of me. This was the very first time ever that I've ever walked on a prosthetic leg. I'm gonna put that in real quick, and you guys can see that. In this video, you'll see that I'm wearing a clear socket. That's my test socket. That's the one that you put on at first, and just kind of get used to it and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna drop that clip in right here. You guys can check that out, and yeah, I'll be right back. All right, so you can see that was my very first steps ever as an amputee, what you just saw right there. It was very, very emotional. If you do get emotional during it, it's fine. That's perfectly fine. You have every right to be. You have every single right to be. You know, it's a very special moment. It's one that, you know, us amputees, we've earned, you know, and I can honestly say that. Yeah, it's a moment that you've earned, and, you know, you damn well better bask in that, because, you know, good for you. I'm super stoked that you're there at that point, and you're actually, you know, you're up and walking, you know, because that means at that point you're getting ready to get your definitive limb, which is that's your carbon fiber socket. That's your, you know, your black or your cool design that you picked for it, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's you're to officially have a prosthetic at that point. So whenever you do get your prosthetic and they actually bring it to you, get you all set up and everything, you can keep your clear test socket if you want. Some people, you know, they like hanging on to them. I still have mine. I have all mine. So a lot of people like keeping that kind of stuff because, hey man, it tells your journey, you know, it tells exactly who you are and what all you've been through and all that good stuff. So, hey, you know, keep that stuff. And you know, if you don't want it, then, you know, hey, there's plenty other places that you can donate it to, that kind of thing. But yeah, man, keep that stuff, because that's important to you, you know, that's something that you've earned, you know. So again, be proud of it. This is you now. This isn't, you know, going to go away. It's not going to get better in 10 years. Your leg's not going to grow back if you sprout water on it and miracle grow. It don't work like that. This is done. It's over. You don't have a leg. It's not coming back. And a lot of people have a lot of issues, and they don't quite comprehend or understand that. And it's tough, man. It's very, very tough. That's where your PTSD and your, you know, all your mental stuff comes into play, is when this really starts to hit home, you know. Now, you start having problems with your prosthetic. You know, what's going to happen is you're going to start shrinking pretty fast. You know, it's not going to be, you know, once the swelling goes down, that kind of thing, they're going to, you know, start looking at maybe getting you another socket. So you're going to be getting, like, you know, socket, 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 and then it's going to start slowing down. You're not going to be just like constantly just getting socket every year. It will slow down, and it will go as your limb starts to what's called atrophy. When atrophy means all your muscle definition, all your tone, the muscles that you're not using will literally start to burn away. And it's basically, you'll see people with stumps that like are just little bitty stumps, you know, I mean, little tiny little stumps that look like a kid's leg or something on an adult. It is what it is, but that's called atrophy. Now, after your leg starts to atrophy and everything starts to shrink down to a very, very small size, obviously that carbon fiber socket isn't going to fit anymore. So it'll be time to upgrade. Now, you know, with your insurance and that kind of thing, we won't get into all that as far as the technicalities of everything. They do allow you, I think, the first year, a certain amount of sockets to be made, because they're well aware that, yes, it's going to be like, you know, boom, 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 boom. You're going to be going through them pretty quick. But they're also well aware that it slows down, and it doesn't, you know, it's not always going to be like that. This last socket I had for 3 years, you know, so there you go. So, so there you go. Like I said, you know, you have all the steps that I've been trying to teach you guys, everything I've been trying to show y'all. You know, I hope this has been helpful. You know, I've been, like I said, trying to drop in pictures and videos and that kind of stuff, just to kind of hit home a little bit on, you know, what all is involved, everything that entails as far as, you know, getting your limb removed, everything. We haven't really hit on much mental stuff. If you want to deal with more of that, you know, look back on my channel, and there's lots and lots of videos that actually do cover that, and we talk about, you know, nothing but that on some of these videos. So so if you are a new amputee, stay strong. Don't worry about it. Don't get frustrated. Ask questions. Oh my God, I cannot stress enough, ask questions. If you have something that you're wondering, something you need to know, ask it, because they're not going to know. The slightest little thing, the slightest little pinch or anything like that, tell them. If there's any kind of like, oh, it's digging up on my knee, anything like that, you know, tell them. Anything that, if it doesn't fit like a comfortable shoe, like if you didn't put it on and it feels just like a comfortable shoe, you can slide it on and walk out the door, then tell them that. And then go and give them as detailed notes as possible, because what this is doing is making it as easy, it's making it easier working relationship with you and your prosthetist. Because having a good prosthetist and having somebody that you can call on is so important. I've talked about that before. It's so important. Having somebody that you can look back on and talk to, and, you know, say, hey, what's going on? I need to, you know, I need to know this. And they'll actually answer you back, like, with the quickness. You're not just a number on a page or some bullshit like that. You're an actual human being to them. That's what you want. That's the people that you want in your corner. You know, not with just with this kind of stuff, but just with life in general, you know. So there you guys go. I want y'all to know that I love y'all, and I greatly appreciate y'all watching these videos and just being a part of everything. It does mean the world, man. It means everything to us. It really does. Everybody that's been sending me messages about Miss MOL, thank you guys so much. It's awesome. It's incredible. Again, to my new amputees out there, stay the course, stay strong. Don't get frustrated. Just you're gonna do great. You're gonna do great. If you don't, if you feel like you're crashing out or something, hit me up and we'll talk. And yeah, I'll help you walk through it. You know, no pun intended. So, I love y'all. Everybody, please stay happy, safe, sane, motivated. Don't look back. Don't give a crap what anybody else says about you, because at the end of the day, it don't matter. I'll talk to you soon.
You just took your first steps.